Surah An-Noor talks about 5 to 6 or 7 matters. All of them are social matters. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins talking about Surah An-Noor, in Surah An-Noor talking about zina, fornication. And zina, basically any illicit relationship. And basically, it's the border that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws between you and the other gender. So that's a social matter. That you don't cross that lines that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws for you. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the famous incident of Aisha, Hadithatul Ifk. And that was also a social issue. It's a spreading rumors, spreading fitna, spreading corruption. And that corruption would go inside the houses of individuals, the house of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and would destroy it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about it and admonishes the believers in it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jumps into the very small details that you might underestimate, which is knocking the doors before getting into someone else's house. You know, that might sound silly to you, but back in time, homes were not protected and safe and locked as today. Houses were made of wooden doors, you push it, you're in. Or maybe curtains, like the house of Aisha. Aisha would just push the curtain, she would see the whole musalla. So anyone can easily in and out, get in and out. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا تدخلوا بيوتا حتى تستأنسوا. You knock 3 times. And you don't get in until you feel welcomed and you say, Assalamu alaikum, and whoever owns the house lets you in. All of this is addressed in Surah An-Noor. And if no one opened for you, you don't enter. Except if you had belonging inside the house and you had certainty that no one inside the house. Akhlaq, mu'amalat, all of it. Zina is akhlaq, mu'amalat. The incident of Aisha is akhlaq and mu'amalat. Getting inside, knocking the door is akhlaq and mu'amalat. And then he goes to applying the laws of Sharia in financial matters, in social matters, and ethical matters. All of this is akhlaq and mu'amalat. And then he tells women, oh men, lower your gaze. Oh woman, lower your gaze. And he tells the woman, don't show your beauty except to your fathers, or your husbands, or your fathers-in-law, or your son, or your stepson, or your brothers, or your sisters, or your fellow women. He mentions them one by one. And all of this is akhlaq and mu'amalat. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches you how to teach your kids the akhlaq and the mu'amalat, and tells you when your kids reach a certain age, they have to knock the door before enter the room of yourself and your wife. And Allah even specifies the times where your kids should knock the door on you. They can't just open the door while you and your wife having time together. Allah says, لِيَسْتَأْذِنْكُمْ الَّذِينَ مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَبْلُغُوا الْحُلُمَ مِنْكُمْ, at 3 times during the day. Before Salatul Fajr, and during the nap time of al-Dhuhr, and after Salatul Isha. So those 3 times, your kids have to knock the door. Because at those times, most probably, 2 spouses, 2 couples would be having their time together. Because al-Dhahira, the nap time, is not like today, you're working from 8 to 5. Al-Dhahira is the time where men would go back to the house until the sun cools down and they have rest with the wives. All of this is addressed in Surah An-Noor. And yet, in the middle of all of that, Allah brings the most beautiful verse in Quran. That's my own categorization, that's not in the tafsir. Where Allah speaks about one of His beautiful names, An-Noor. Allahu Noor as-samawati wal-ard. Speaks about His own light. In the middle of all of these akhlaq and mu'amalat and social matters, He brings that one verse, Allahu Noor as-samawati wal-ard. Ibn al-Jawzi, when you open the tafsir of Zadul Masir fi ilm al-tafsir, and you pass by this verse, he reflecting at the position of the verse, not the verse itself. And he says, وَكَأَنَّ اللَّهِ يقسم النور بين عباده كما يقسم الأرزاق بينهم. It's as if Allah distributes the lights among His slaves the same way He distributes money, the same way He distributes provision. And then He continues, and the light that is revealed from Allah upon you is connected to the light that you show to His slaves and His creation. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking about His own light in a surah, and between verses that is all talking about how you treat others, how you give others. But how Ibn al-Jawzi comes to this conclusion, he continues and brings you back to emphasize this meaning on Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The best man, the best giver, the most generous person you would find among all of us Sahaba. Yet, at one occasion, one incident, with one man, Prophet Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, decided to cut off that generosity on Mustah ibn Athatha. Mustah ibn Athatha spoke about his own daughter. And Abu Bakr decided to cut all the financial benefits that he gives to him. It's not an obligation. It's not like Abu Bakr went to Mustah and opened his door and knocked him out. Abu Bakr just decided to cut off those benefits. I'm not paying your rent, I'm not paying your bills, I'm not paying your groceries. You're on your own. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't let that go for Abu Bakr. And he went with the whole revelation to teach him the lesson of light, the lesson of An-Noor. How can you receive the light of Allah? Is it through these deeds, O Abu Bakr? When you give to Mustah, it's not about Mustah. It's about me and you. What you have been giving to Mustah was the main reason why I'm giving you the light. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that verse, وَلَا يَأْتَلِ أُولُو الْفَضْلِ مِنْكُمْ وَالسَّعَةِ أَن يُؤْتُوا أُولِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَالْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا. And then he asks the question, أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? Don't you like Allah to forgive you? Isn't this what Abu Bakr needs? When Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu heard that, he says, Bala ya Rabb, and immediately he returned all the benefits. Take it, but let me receive the light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? Don't you like Allah to forgive you? And the lesson that comes here while you're reading, today probably when you're reading your Khatira in Surat An-Noor and you pass by this verse, you have to pause here. Don't continue. Stop right here. Because that question is not for Abu Bakr anymore. Abu Bakr is gone. Abu Bakr is dead. And Quran doesn't speak to dead people. Quran speaks to living people, and you are alive. So that question is for you. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? Don't you like Allah to forgive you? Brothers and sisters, what do you need? Abu Bakr needed forgiveness. What do you need? Where's the unemployed people here? Don't raise your hand, we don't need to know you because Allah knows you very well. Don't you like to be employed? Give. Show the kindness. Show the goodness. That goodness that you show to people is nothing but the reflection that the goodness that Allah will show you. The kindness and niceness and generosity that you show is nothing but the reflection of light and generosity and kindness that Allah will show to you. Where is people who are struggling with their kids? Don't you like your children to be righteous? أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يُصْلِحَ اللَّهُ أَوْلَادَكُمْ? Don't you like Allah to expand your rizq? أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يُوَسِّعَ اللَّهُ أَرْزَاقَكُمْ? أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يُصْلِحَ اللَّهُ أَزْوَاجَكُمْ? أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ that Allah fixes all your affairs? Then give. Where is the people living with struggles? Allah is giving you the secret here. Between Abu Bakr and Mustah ibn Athatha. Use it. I can give you my light, but that's the secret through the akhlaq and the mu'amalat and the giving. Where's the people struggling with the jobs? With their tight in rizq? Where's the unmarried people? Al-masakeen. We miss Allah, Sheikh Hussam Mulal already. We miss him. Those masakeen who are looking to get married. Don't you like Allah to find you a spouse? أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? All these things is just through the lesson of Abu Bakr in Surah An-Noor, a profound lesson to teach you that once you give, you will receive the light from Allah. And every one of us are full, we're all full of needs. You need a job, you need security, you need peace of mind, you need tranquility, you need expansion of rizq, you need to have righteous children, righteous wife, family, this and that. Even if you don't need anything in this life, believe me, you will be the most needy in the hereafter. When you come to Allah naked and barefoot, holding nothing on your shoulder but your heavy deeds that are full of sins and shortcomings, you will need a drop of His mercy. And that is the question that is Allah asking you today. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَن يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? Brothers and sisters, I want to change our perspective on giving, on ihsan, on the sadaqah. That when you give, you don't give for the masjid, no. You don't give for the community. You give for yourself. You give that Allah gives you back. That's what you're giving for. Let's have this intention from tonight and on. Not just to the end of Ramadan, and not just for that fundraising. When you go out of these doors, if you have someone poor in your family, in your relation, back home, wherever you have it, you can give them and have this khabi'ah with Allah. If you don't donate to the masjid, the community which is in need, to your support always. And when you go out and you put that $200, $100, $500, $1,000, when you put it, make the intention and whisper to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh Allah, I'm putting this for you to heal my mother. I'm putting this to make my children righteous. I'm putting this to find me a job, oh Allah. I've been unemployed for a good 2 years. Enough. Ya Allah, find me the spouse I'm looking for. This is the khabi'ah. Try it. And ask Allah and be specific, what do you want? Because this is called khabi'ah. You know the people of the cave who got locked in the cave and everyone remembered his good deeds, a very famous story that we all know. That's what they did. They used a donation, a good deed in the past, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed it. And keep in mind, Allah will give it back to you. That's confirmed statement when He says, وَمَا أَنفَقْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ. But how do you want it back? You have to be specific. Oh Allah, I don't want it to cash back. Even though the cash back of Allah is really good. Unlike the banks that we have today, cash back is not that tempting. You probably spend $3,000, $4,000, you get only $20 cash back. That's a poor cash back. But the cash back of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is 700%. But if you don't want cash back, that's fine. Ask Allah with the giving that you give, what do you want? Use that. Try it with Allah. Even though that we said before, Inna Allah la yujarrab. You cannot put Allah under trials and see whether He will give it back or not. But try this new perspective of giving. New perspective, I would call it, of light with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Give. And when you give, be certain that Allah will give you back.